If you're sitting in an Italian restaurant and thinking, shit, I need to get myself to Italy, it's not Rome, Venice or Milan you need to get to, it's right here. We're here in the Emilia Romagna region, and while Italy all the way over has great regional dishes, it's generally agreed that the Emilia Romagna region is the centre and the home of Italian produce and food. And while we're here, we're going to check out a trio of goods that are produced only here in this region: Balsamic Vinegar, Parmeggiano Reggiano and Parma Ham.
We're in Parma, and what else are you going to do when you're in Parma but get some bloody Parma ham? Otherwise known as prosciutto to you losers.
Yeah, you bloody losers. We're here at La Perla, which is a family-run business that only make a small number of hams per year, in the 60,000 mark. Let's check it out.
Can you tell we're excited? Parma ham is made from specific pig legs that are grown in the Parma region of Emilia Romagna. Once the butchered legs are delivered to the factory, the curing process begins. A maestro salatore, or salt master, covers the legs with sea salt. No other chemicals or elements are allowed in the process, which is a point of difference with other rival prosciuttos from around the world.
Covered all the surface of Parma Ham by massage the meat for easy to absorb the sea salt.
Once the salt is removed and washed, the next phase is unreal, and it's what makes the taste of Parma ham so distinctive. We learnt that all the Parma ham factories in the region are positioned to face in a certain direction toward the sun and have enormous windows with good ventilation. Leaving the hams hung that way for 3 months is what develops the distinct flavour. At the end of this light and air process, the ham should be dry and hard and about halfway done.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to see how the sausage gets made, are you?
This is incredible.
Yeah, it smells good as well. The next step is to grease them up. A special paste is made and rubbed all over the legs to soften the exposed surface.
The Parma ham arrived here at the 8th month of production. This is a paste composed by boiled fat, pepper, rice flour and sea salt. Rice flour because it's gluten free. And this paste is important for a protection for the surface of the Parma ham and for keep inside the Parma ham the perfect level of humidity.
Hams must be left for at least 1 year, counted from the time when they were first salted, but can be left for up to 3 years for more intense flavour. Finally, to determine if the ham is any good and worthy of the Parma seal, authorities will come to check if they're up to standard using a horse bone needle.
And the inspector put in the 5 point of the second curing this bone, scoronatura, under the femur, under the hips, femoral vein and central vein. Put this bone and by smell decide if the ham is a Parma or is not a Parma.
You do the melting on the tongue test. Shit, yeah. Heavily salted, almost creamy, super earthy, and not flatty.
Leatherface. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, anyone?
Sorry to all the vegetarians. No, I'm not. Fucking cop on. We stayed in Parma town as a base to explore the region. It's a university town, which means there are bikes and students everywhere with good restaurants and things to see. This is free. We came across one of the most beautiful and serene churches we've seen in all of our travels of Italy. The Parma Cathedral, or the Cathedral of Santa Maria Assunta, is known for its dramatic dome and frescoes dating back hundreds of years. That is not.
Danielle, can you tell us what on the piss means?
It means that something's crooked, bent, not good.
Like a New South Wales copper.
Parma is a great choice to stay among the 3 main towns in the food bowl. It's more lively than Reggio Emilia and less expensive than Modena. Overall, we had just a really lovely time.
This.
So that's old salami.
Old salami, new salami, other thing, prosciutto crudo. Prosciutto crudo.
Coppo crudo. Yeah,
Prosciutto coppo.
that's fine. Okay.
Yes.
Your favourite thing?
Yeah, so there's one thing I really wanted to do when we came to Italy, and that's check out like the home of Parmesan cheese. And I'm being real intense here because the intensity is warranted. I've been a lifelong fan of Parmesan cheese and we're here to do it today.
Bitch, it is 8 a.m. post daylight savings, so it's really 7 in the morning. I had to institute a cheese budget in our house when we moved to Italy because all the shops sell like fresh Parmeggiano Reggiano from the big, 100 kilo blocks, and they chunk them off in like a kilo chunks.
Yeah.
And we were really excited when we first got here. And it's like, at best, about €25 a kilo, so like 40 Oz dollars. And you were going through that in about 10 days.
Yeah, easy.
Just putting it on everything and just eating it on its own. So we had to kibosh that just to be more sustainable with our budget and health requirements.
So we're here at Caseificio Ugolotti, and they will take us through the entire process of making Parmesan cheese right now.
Ready?
Different phases of Parmeggiano Reggiano. So here we are at the beginning, so they started to warm the milk and to introduce immediately the whey starter. The liquid yellow that you can see near the copper vat, that is the whey. The whey is a natural component inside the milk. For example, when you open the yogurt at the top, you can see a little liquid yellow. Inside the copper vat now we have 1,000 liters of milk, and with 1,000 liters they produce just 2 years of Parmeggiano Reggiano.
Parmeggiano Reggiano is made in the traditional process with raw milk and copper vats. Like the Parma hams, the milk must come from cows born and raised in the Emilia Romagna region. The milk is bought in fresh daily, and once the whey is added and it's warmed to 28 degrees, they add rennet.
Rennet is a natural substance from the stomach of the young cow. It's a substance full of the enzyme. So the enzyme of the rennet starts to change the consistence of the milk.
After the milk coagulates, it's cut with a traditional knife called the spinno.
And they must wait for around 1 hour. During this time, the granules will go in the bottom of the copper vat, compact, and create the cheese.
The cheese that settles at the bottom of the vat is soft and malleable. It's then dredged up and divided into 2. The cheese masters are pros and do this by eye before transferring the cheese into their moulds that will form them into the iconic Parmigiano wheel. Over a few days, they are turned at specific intervals until the remaining whey drains and the water evaporates before being branded with a certified DOC label.
So I told to you that the cheese of today stay upstairs for 1 day, 1 night inside the cloth, inside the white mold. But just this evening, we remove the cloth around the cheese and I will put that. That is the brand, the name that you can read around the cross of Parmeggiano Reggiano. On that, you can read the month and the year of production of the wheel. Just month and the year. So the stamp stay around the cheese, like that, around the cheese, inside the white mold upstairs for 1 night, all night long. During the night, the cheese dry, creates a little crust, so this stain press around the crust of Parmeggiano Reggiano for just 1 night.
Each caseificio, or creamery, keeps the cheese submerged like this for a couple of weeks for the wheels to solidify and lose excess moisture before being aged in temperature-controlled rooms.
Now that's a smell.
The smell was gorgeously indescribable, and we felt like we were in that Harry Potter movie with all the fortune globes towering around us, except it was better because it was cheese. We learned that after 1 year of aging, the cheese is checked for quality and can begin to be sold, but that it can be aged endlessly.
Those are our maximum, and those are the cheese of 6 years old. 6? Yes, 6. To December 2016, yes. So we don't have a maximum. If I wanted to sell the cheese after 40 years, for example, I can. We don't have a maximum. We have a minimum per month, but we don't have a maximum because the Parmeggiano Reggiano never ends, never expires, because it's a totally natural cheese.
Did you catch that tapping sound? On the day we visited the creamery, the DOC officials were there to verify the quality of the cheese. They do this by sound alone, checking every single wheel on site to determine if it gets the literal stamp of approval.
Different aging of Parmeggiano Reggiano. We have 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. So 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years.
No, it's very creamy and very buttery. That's like a lot sharper. It's like, that feels like your classic Parmesan cheese. Yeah, it's definitely got more complex flavours. Yeah, it just feels like layers and layers and layers. That's like the best way to describe it.
In terms of like how it physically looks, not too much difference. Like you can tell a little bit of difference between the 12 and the 24, but you can tell the difference heaps between the 12 and the 36. We walked away with a crisp 1.25 kilos of Parmeggiano Reggiano cheese and then made our way to Reggio Emilia. Reggio Emilia is a quiet and understated little town, but it's home to a remarkable bit of Italian history. Decades before the unification of Italy, the tricoloured flag first emerged in the Sala di Tricolore, the Room of the Tricolour, which is now the seat of the Reggio Emilia City Council. On the 7th of January 1797, representatives from Bologna, Modena, Reggio Emilia and Ferrara announced the white, red and green tricolour as the banner of a newborn republic, which would soon become the symbol of independence and Italian national unity. Before the unification of 1861, Napoleon had conquered Italian states where he destroyed former territories and created new republics. These territories who supported unification bore an iteration of the tricolour flag, which was an unofficial symbol of unified Italian nationalism. When Italy was officially united as a monarchy under the rule of the Royal House of Savoy in 1861, a shield, cross and crown were added to the centre of the flag's stripes. Then finally, in 1946, when Italy changed from a monarchy to a republic, the flag returned to the simple 3 stripes that we recognise today. There are a couple of theories about the reason of the 3 colours. One is that the colours represent the ideas of Italy: green for freedom, white for faith, and red for love. Others believe that the colours have religious connotations, representing the 3 theological virtues: green for hope, white for faith, and red for charity. The Tricolore Museum is all in Italian, so we had to learn all this information after the fact, but it was unreal to go on the visual journey while we were there. Back in Parma, we took ourselves out to a local trattoria to try some of the regional dishes. Gnocchi fritto, or fried dough, is meant to be served with a selection of cured meats and cheeses, but we were both stuffed from the cured meat shtick and didn't know that that's what they were for, so we really screwed the pooch with that starter.
We do
taste like anything. It tastes like hot bread, hot soggy bread.
So like, are we meant to then like have this with meat or something? Like there was like
Yeah, I have no idea.
no attempt to
Indication.
like, just help.
The meal was rescued with the tricolore tortellini, a mix of pumpkin, herbs and potato-filled parcels. Controversially, in my opinion, horse tartare is a local dish, which I left Tyler to enjoy by himself. Done?
Yeah, happy.
Done.
No trip to the Emilia Romagna region can be called complete unless you come to Modena and check out balsamic vinegar and how it's made.
Tradizionale.
Tradizionale, DOP, like everything else in this bloody region.
DOP. As with the other specialities of the Emilia Romagna region, traditional balsamic vinegar can only be made from grapes grown in Modena. Once the grapes are harvested and softly crushed, their liquid, called a must, is boiled in an open vat.
And we boil the must in these steel pans, and we boil for about 6-7 hours, because we must reach one exact concentration for the future work and life of the yeast and the acidic bacteria that we can find in the air.
The liquid at this stage tastes a little like a sweet pork or masala. The must liquid is then moved into the vinegar house and put into wooden barrels which are left open to oxidize.
We call these big barrels botte madre or mother barrel. And the cooked must stay here in fermentation for the first time, minimum 7-8 years. After this time, we obtain one soft vinegar, not one vinegar like the wine, one soft vinegar.
You can see how the barrels are lightly covered at the openings to stop dust and other particles from getting inside. Across many years, this process transforms the grape juice into vinegar. The rows and rows of barrels aren't just a game of Tetris to fit them all in, but a very specific process where a group of 5 barrels creates what they call a battery.
We call every set batteria. The battery of the phone, the battery of the car. What is the battery? The battery is one circle close, one never-ending story. Okay. The battery is composed in general of minimum 3 barrels, but in general the battery is long 4, 5, 6, 7 barrels, in general 5. The size is improved, the smallest, biggest, okay?
The vinegar evaporates so much each year, so each barrel in the battery tops up the one next to it until finally, after 12 years, you can start bottling and selling the goods. But you can keep the batteries going for as long as you like, and some batteries have been in families for generations. The way you can tell the traditional vinegar is DOC from Moderna is the label and unique design of the bottle, so don't get caught out buying that cheap, artificial crap.
Only this, painted from Giugiaro. Giugiaro is a car designer. Volkswagen Golf, the first Volkswagen Golf was painted from Giugiaro, some Alfa Romeo, some Maserati, also Fiat Panda. I'm not very proud to say this, but it's okay. But remember, when you see this bottle, you can understand this is the original balsamic vinegar.
Our last stop was Modena town, which was beautiful, full of striking architecture and character, as well as being the home to famed opera singer Luciano Pavarotti. Giungia e la salsa mescolano bene. All of that is on the piss. All of it. I can move over, Pisa. Modena's in town. What an absolute bloody treat Emilia Romagna has been. Getting to just drive around and seeing all the little pockets and their individual beauties of the culinary variety.
But if you think that's all that Italy has to offer, then you don't know anything. Maybe you should click this link and check out our Bari episode right now.
I think you're being a little bit aggressive with this, speaking to our viewers this way. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Never Not. Arrivederci.